Crown Jewel 2024 is in the books, and full disclosure here, I did not get a chance to watch this year's Crown Jewel PLE. It was just a super busy Saturday for me. So this recap video is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to be covering the matches. I did go back and watch the matches. So I'm just going to give my thoughts on the matches and where I think the story goes from there for whoever won or whoever lost. So with that being said, let me know down below in the comments, how was Crown Jewel as an entire PLE? Because I'm genuinely curious. As you know, I was very nervous for Crown Jewel this year because it really felt like that WWE was potentially going to take a step back when it comes to Crown Jewel with the addition of the new Crown Jewel Championship, which I do kind of like the fact that they're keeping the titles in Saudi Arabia and they're giving the winners of the match just rings to wear around. I think that maybe makes it a little more easier because the Crown Jewel Championship, aside from it being a ugly looking championship, really just it doesn't do anything for the stories, but I do think that having them wearing a championship ring around, I think that'll help a little bit more and kind of take the hatred away from the Crown Jewel Championship in a way, if that makes sense. So now that all of that's out of the way, let's get on to the matches. Starting off with the OG Bloodline taking on the Bloodline 2.0. Now, in my PLE preview video, I did not have the Bloodline 2.0 winning, but I also didn't expect Sami Zayn to come in and interfere in the match the way he did. I am very excited to see how they choose to incorporate Sami Zayn in this Bloodline storyline, because we all thought that he was going to be on the side of the OG Bloodline because of his relationship with Jey Uso, and despite the issues that he had in the past with Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso, I still think that they could have done an angle where Sami could have gone back to the OG Bloodline. But I really do like the fact that he's not bending like Jey did in a way. I really wanted to see Roman Reigns begging and really apologizing to Jey for everything that he did, all the trauma that he caused, everything that happened. I wanted to see that, and I really think that that took away from the Jey Uso reuniting with the OG Bloodline story, because it just felt like that after everything that happened, and Jey's promo that he cut, talking about the trauma that Roman caused, really helped sell that in a way. So I really think that Roman could have done a little bit more to apologize at least, and he didn't. Maybe that's by design, maybe that's not, but now we're seeing Sami Zayn in here, and Sami is not going to do the same thing that Jey did. So I'm very curious to see how this goes. The Bloodline 2.0 winning, obviously that continues the build towards War Games, which I'm pretty sure is a foregone conclusion that that's going to be the War Games match this year again. So now, as we build towards War Games, we have the story going with Sami Zayn. Which side is he going to choose? Is he going to choose the OG Bloodline, or is he going to choose the Bloodline 2.0? Because right now, he's still in the middle. And depending on what side he chooses, has a really significant impact, I think, at least. Considering what we know the result of another match that we will obviously talk about later on, but I think that Sami interfering in this match opens the door up for possibilities of possibly opening the door for someone else to come in and join the OG Bloodline, which I do have a theory on who that could be, and that will be a video coming out in the future, so stay tuned for that one. But the match itself was good. It was a typical Bloodline match, which I think at this point we've all just kind of accepted as being their own type of match. So the Bloodline 2.0 get the win. Solo Sikoa gets the pin on Roman Reigns, which I really did not see coming, so that's going to make Solo an even bigger of a heel. So overall, I'm okay with the result. I think it makes the most sense, and I think having Sami Zayn now fully in the Bloodline storyline, I think really has me intrigued to see where this goes from here. Up next, we have Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair retaining the Women's Tag Team Championships over Metaphor, Damage Control, and Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. And I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it until they lose the titles. Jade and Bianca having the women's tag team titles keeps those titles available for PLE. That's just unfortunately the way it is when you have two of your biggest women's stars as a tag team. The match itself was okay. It had a bit of a sloppy finish, but that didn't take away from what was a really fun match to watch. I think the match itself really showcased each team's specialty in a way. So despite the sloppy finish, I still think that all four teams come out looking really good still. And I still do think that this sets up the women's War Games match because, again, we're building towards War Games now, and I really do think that this is going to be the War Games match. I think it makes sense to have it be the War Games match at this point, considering all the little storylines that have been going on between all four of the teams. I think I'm feeling pretty confident about having that as a War Games match, and I think it would be a fantastic War Games match at that. Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed was a match that I was very, very excited to watch, and it did not disappoint. The match was very good, and despite the loss, Bronson Reed still comes out looking like a true main event talent, which I think he's going to be sooner rather than later at this point. He stood toe-to-toe with Seth Rollins for the entirety of the match, which is not an easy thing to do. So again, the loss here does not damage Bronson in any shape or form, having taken stomp after stomp after stomp to finally defeat Bronson Reed, I think really helped sell the fact that Bronson could quite possibly be the next big bad of the WWE. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see Bronson Reed continue to progress week after week, and Seth Rollins getting the win here makes sense, and Bronson Reed still coming out of this match looking like a true main event talent is a win in itself. Liv Morgan defeating Nia Jax is something that I did not have happening, and I think the Rhea Ripley injury that happened on NXT or whenever it happened, I think that really impacted the match because I really did have Rhea coming in and interfering in the match, costing Liv the match itself. And the match itself was okay. It wasn't spectacular. It probably was my least favorite match on the card so far. And I really think that a cash-in really could have helped the match out a lot in this scenario. But I understand why they're holding on to it because now we're seeing Tiffany Stratton kind of fighting back against Nia Jax anymore. Instead of trying to be her friend, now we're seeing Tiffany Stratton start calling out Nia Jax in a way. So now, even after this match, you still have two very, very prominent stories moving forward, even despite the Rhea Ripley injury. Rhea Ripley is always going to be Liv Morgan's endgame in this current title reign that she's on, but now we get to see her incorporated into the Nia Jax Tiffany Stratton storyline that we've been getting. Tiffany was always kind of trying to keep being buddy-buddy with Nia Jax, and now we're starting to see her calling Nia Jax out and saying that she could be the one cashes in on. And I really, really like that decision because it keeps everybody on their toes. It has to keep Liv Morgan on her toes now, and it has to keep Nia Jax on her toes now. So everybody has to be on high alert for Tiffany Stratton now, which I really, really like. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, the match that never really got to take place, and I'm really upset about that. Randy Orton, as you may know, Randy Orton is my all-time favorite WWE superstar. Kevin Owens is probably my number 2 at this point. I really, really was excited for this match. And the fact that it just didn't really get to take place really kind of sucked. And I love when Randy Orton was coming out, the crowd singing his theme song, and you could just tell that he's really starting to soak it all in now. And it just makes me happy seeing that because there was a time where we thought Randy Orton was going to be done in the WWE. And this match ending in a no contest, I think, opens the door for something that I teased earlier in a possible video idea that I have when it comes to the War Games match. Because now I would assume that they're going to have a rematch perhaps at War Games, and I think that opens the door up for a certain somebody else to insert themselves into the War Games match, depending on what side Sami Zayn chooses. So this match had all sorts of just things happening with it, and I really was looking forward to the match. I really wanted to see the story being told between the two, and possibly getting an answer to where we could be going as we progress towards War Games. We got to see Randy Orton deliver a fabulous RKO to Adam Pearce, which I think is something that everybody wants to do at this point. So again, I'm upset that there wasn't really a match, but I'm still excited to see where things go from here, and possibly opening the door for something bigger to happen at War Games. LA Knight retains the United States Championship against Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. Now, in my PLE preview video, I mentioned that I was not very excited for this match because of how LA Knight interfered in Game 7 between Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. I was not a fan of him becoming the special guest referee. I was not a fan of him ending the match abruptly. I really think that took away from the feud that was being told between Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. And I think it was a good reminder of just how damn good both Andrade and Carmelo Hayes is. We already know how good LA Knight can be, but I think we are still kind of getting used to Carmelo Hayes on the main roster, and I think people just kind of forgot how good Andrade really is in the ring. So before this, in my PLE preview video, I said that I thought that it was going to be LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes as themselves as a feud. Now I want to see more between these three. So LA Knight winning makes sense, and I had him winning in my preview video because I think LA Knight has deserved a lengthy title reign at this point because it took him forever, it felt like, to win a championship. So him winning makes sense. I'm glad to see it. Cody Rhodes defeated Gunther to become the Crown Jewel Championship, so he gets to go home with a nice little fancy championship ring like Liv Morgan does. The biggest thing that happened in this match was there was no Goldberg. Thank God there was no Bill Goldberg in this match, and I really think that a lot of people were kind of anticipating it, but I'm glad that that didn't happen because the match itself was okay, and it was a real slow pace to the match to start, and then it started picking up towards the end. Gunther's very slow and meticulous with his movements, and Cody Rhodes can do it all. He can slow a match down, he could pick it up when he needs to. Again, Cody winning, whatever. Congratulations on the win, you get your ring. Now, what's next for Cody Rhodes? I think that Cody Rhodes could quite possibly end back into the Bloodline storyline, and that's going to be a different video for a different day. That's something that I've been working on for a while now, and something that you guys are going to have to wait on. As for Gunther, I do think that he is going to be the retirement match for Goldberg, which, alright, it is what it is. We didn't get Goldberg at Crown Jewel, which I was happy about, but I do think that Gunther is going to be the one to retire Goldberg from pro wrestling, and I think that that's something that we're just going to have to wait and see how that story progresses. So I think he is going to be the one to retire Goldberg, and I think Cody Rhodes on the other side has something big in the plans moving forward to War Games. So with all of that being said, that is going to do it for this video here. Let me know down below in the comments, what did you think of Crown Jewel? Did you enjoy the show? Did you not enjoy the show? Were you kind of split 50-50 on it? Let me know, because, again, I did not get to watch the show. I was just busy all day long on Saturday, so I did not get a chance to watch the show at all, but I went back and watched the matches at least, so I could form an opinion on the matches themselves. So let me know all that stuff down below in the comments, and while you're down there, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. The Linktree link will take you to all of the social medias for this channel, and I highly suggest going and checking out our X page. Over on X, we do updates on Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and the majority of the PLEs. Normally, I would have done updates on X for Crown Jewel, but again, I was just busy all day. I did not get a chance to do that. But overall, I want X to be a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling, especially if you're like me and you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. So if that does apply to you, swing by a Monday night or a Friday night or possibly War Games coming up. join in on the conversation, and maybe it's for you at the end of the day. That is going to do it for this video here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. It'll really help out the channel a lot. And as always, stay tuned for more content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.